Hi, everybody. I'm Ross Merriam,
I'm Brad Nelson.
and you're watching Versus Alive by StarCityGames.com. And today, it's the most wonderful day of the year.
Why?
It's Dredge Day.
I think you're the only person on the block. Well, there's probably a few of you out there that are this excited about Dredge popping back up in Modern.
The classic Dredge apologist, Ross Merriam.
And that is Todd Anderson. He's going to be dealing with Twitch chat all day. And so
I will be dealing with them. Don't
yes,
you worry.
Yeah.
Let's show some love for Dredge in the chat, please. Excellent deck. Basically the best deck in the history of Magic. I actually don't like any other version of Dredge, but I just really like Modern Dredge because it's a little bit different. It's way more fun.
I do agree that in Modern, this deck, it's not overly busted, right? Like, it's not like let's go off on turn 2, we win every single game. Like, Dredge Return is gone.
It's an aggro deck, not a combo deck.
Yes. And the old versions, like, it extended. I remember when that deck, it would win on turn 2 or 3 every single game.
Any version with Bridge from Below and either Therapy or Cabal Therapy or Dread Return, that's a combo deck. They would just like mill their graveyard over and just do something absurd. But this deck, you got your 4 power, 6 power, and you attack, and you do dread some loams, conflagrate some stuff.
I will say that the reason I'm going to say that I don't like Dredge is that the games where dredging a Stinkweed and playing it and attacking with it for 4 turns, they're kind of gone. That's like plan like Z.
My very first league testing post Creeping Chill, I attacked for exactly lethal with 0 cards in my deck with a Narcomoeba and 2 Stinkweed.
I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying that like lately these what's the burn spell called?
Creeping Chill?
Conflagrate. Conflagrate. They're lethal a lot more often than I remember.
And a lot sooner than you might remember.
A lot sooner. So for anyone that doesn't know, a new card from Guilds of Ravnica has come out, part of the Undergrowth theme, or the Surveil theme.
Yes.
The Surveil theme, Creeping Chill. Whenever it goes to your graveyard from your library, 3 to them, 3 for you.
Yeah, a little free Lightning Helix action. Yeah, it's just a Lightning Helix.
It's fair, man.
Yeah, it doesn't kill creatures.
A lot of people actually talked about that in tandem with Doom Whisperer. Since Doom Whisperer, you just pay life and you mill 2 cards if you want to. And you just try to like kind of combo kill your opponent with the drain lives as well as all the creatures like Spybug. They get bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was really cool. And then someone was just like, I should probably just go and Dredge. And they're just right. It's just insane. It's just so good.
I didn't know that that's the origin of it, but that does make sense. I'm going to be playing one of my favorite decks of all time, Eldrazi Tron.
Why?
Well,
like seriously, like no, not
it's
this
2018.
This
right?
is not a why where I actually want you to expound upon it. This is a why. Why are you bringing a knife to a gunfight?
Did I wake up in a different timeline this morning?
Is it 2016?
Is it 2015? I don't know. What year was that even good?
Well, the answer is never.
But
oh, good.
What year is it?
But right now, it's not that bad, and that's as good as it gets for Eldrazi Tron.
Not that bad.
Yeah.
Not that bad.
Yeah, so Eldrazi Tron is a deck that's decent against Burn, was decent against Dredge. We're going to find out here to see if it's still decent against control decks, and that's back when they had Spreading Seas.
Yes. I used to consider Eldrazi Tron my worst matchup in the format with Dredge. That's mainly because they had a million pieces of graveyard hate in the sideboard.
I brought 15.
Well, that's a lot.
Yeah, we're hoping it's good enough.
So you basically can't beat any other deck.
I have 4.
4, okay. I
you
can
work
deal with
with
that.
4. You can work with 4. But yeah, so today we're going to be taking Golgari down a path of 3 different matchups.
Are we?
We are. Or no, Golgari. Wow, my head's always the center. Dredge. Ross gets to play Dredge all day. How excited are you?
It's glorious.
Yeah.
As I said, it's the most wonderful time of the year. I feel like singing, feel like dancing.
I mean,
no more Lost Marion.
No more Lost Marion.
Well, I mean, we'll
Ross,
see.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The last Open that you were victorious was with Dredge.
That is correct.
The last trophy?
Yes.
Your last trophy was Dredge?
It was.
Wow, that's...
And it's coming full circle.
Yeah,
it is also, I think, my most successful archetype since they moved to 2-day opens.
So is it safe to say everyone knows what you're playing this weekend?
No.
Shut up.
Oh, we know it.
Liar.
Yeah, what is he
You're
doing?
just a
We
liar.
know he's playing Dredge.
I
You're
do
a big
this
fat phony.
every week when a deck I really like is the default best deck and it's
Lie
getting
to
really
people?
targeted.
Lie to my
I
face?
spend every week before a tournament like that looking at other decks and seeing, well, maybe I should play a different deck. Played a league last night with a different deck. I 5-0'd. It was pretty good. And then by the end of the week, I'm just like, I should just play the deck I like.
What
So,
deck?
I 5-0'd a league with Infect,
Oh, yeah.
a deck that is historically good against Dredge and good against or bad against spot removal, while Dredge is good against spot removal.
Mhm.
So presumably when Dredge goes up, spot removal goes down, Infect gets better.
Well, we saw that this last weekend in Dallas, actually.
Yeah, there was one in top 8. Aaron Barrich got,
Top 16 with
yeah,
that.
he got Tannened in the last round. That was great
Oh,
Didn't
Tron?
Tannen mold to 4
in game 3.
in game 3, but his hand was just like Nature's Claim for the Spell Guide and both of his spatial contortions, and just got him when he went for the kill. Just
Got him with the second one.
Just straight
was-
up got him.
Brutal.
Watch that one over again. It was nice.
All right, well, let's roll some dice and let's see if Eldrazi Tron can battle against Dredge.
How do you want to roll?
Whatever you want. You pick. It's your day.
Oh, it's my day. I get to
You
do
can-
everything.
You can
Poker
I
hand.
think
We're
we
doing
should do
poker
the
hand?
one dice
Yes.
each, odd even,
Whoa,
just
whoa,
because
whoa,
I want
whoa,
to
whoa, whoa,
promote
whoa.
that.
You can be the
I wanna
good guy
promote
too.
that as the next new thing.
Pair of ones. You have a straight.
I have a straight. I'm on the play.
I was very close to that straight. Okay.
What were you saying, Todd?
Oh, I want to make
Oh!
it the norm to do the one person each die to do the odd even, because I just want that to become commonplace.
That was also me.
Yeah,
So it's like my
You're,
day
you're
still.
very smart.
Can you hold up a second?
Yeah,
check
sure.
check this out. Oh,
Oh, we just
yeah.
got. Ooh.
Mm.
We just got it.
Oh, it might be a rough day for you, Russ, Miriam.
Well, my hand is really good.
Really good?
It is very
Yes.
good.
All right,
Both of your
you ready?
hands are very good. This is awesome.
Your turn.
That was less good.
Oh yeah. We need. Okay, so just for the record, the last time I played Dredge in this room, our director Dan May created a little like clicker whenever like a brick counter whenever I drew an
I'm
Archimedes,
gonna go to
and
17.
I drew it like 12 times in 5 games.
Well, now you can draw Narcomoebas and Crippling Chills.
Oh
yeah.
Although you could just cast Crippling Chill and it's not that bad.
I've cast my fair share of crippling chills.
Yeah.
All right, while Ross is being super slow and developing its first turn, I'm going to ask 2 quick questions. Eric J1222 asks, risk factor, question mark, as like a 1 or a 2 of in the Dredge deck?
It's just going to be 3 mana, 4 damage, right?
Yeah, it seems like it's a different game plan, slow. It does work good at like putting things in the graveyard, dealing more damage, but after sideboard, you have a lot of issues, and it's not putting cards in the graveyard and dealing 4 damage.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I guess that one's more like a win more, huh?
Yeah.
It's a card that goes towards your game 1 game plan, but doesn't do it as quickly as the other cards in your
Yeah.
deck.
Right.
So I'm going to cast a Faithful Suiting, the best card in the entire deck.
Maybe
And-
format.
Yeah, maybe format.
Yeah.
And we're going to discard Bloodghast Stinkweed Imp.
Shout out to Golf Kid
Pass the
1.
turn.
Thank you for the tier 1 sub. Welcome to the SEG Tour family.
Okay, draw
Uh-oh.
step. Let's get to dredging.
Da-da.
That's a good start.
Oh, first two
Oh.
off the piece.
Oh, what?
Oh, no! We're doing it. 2 Bloodghast, a Narcomoeba, 2 Prize Amalgams on turn
This is
2 without
unfair.
even having to cast a Cathartic Reunion.
Play a mountain. Trigger 2. Or this triggered. Sorry.
Oh, well, there's 2 of them.
Trigger
You
the-
missed the trigger.
No. It's
Let's
delayed-
cathartic,
it's a-
discarding
it's a-
2 imps.
It's a delayed trigger.
Oh.
And,
That is a Warping Whale.
That is
Format
Yeah, Warping Whale
staple.
counter-
probably
sorcery.
very important for Brad not being dead on turn 3 because
Yeah, I don't feel like much of this matters.
I mean, if you got Tron, you can start doing stuff.
I do have Tron,
Just has turn 3 Tron.
but I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it. I guess I just have to do this and hope this. That's so much damage.
Basic 3 says, why be good when you can be lucky? What
You-
the heck is this, Ross?
You put the cards in your deck
This
for
is
a reason,
ridiculous.
okay?
I've played Dredge quite a bit.
Crippling Chill has made this deck so much better.
There it is. And you just get zapped for 3 for free.
All right, 17 to 20.
This Cathartic should be in the
Yeah, it's in the
graveyard.
graveyard.
Yeah, it gets countered, not exiled.
Yeah. So I'm at 20. You're at 17. Because I fetch shocked on turn 1. And I will. So you generally always attack first here. Because now, if I hit another Narcomoeba, this Amalgam can come back. You take 8, brings you to 9.
What is this?
I'm going to play a Gemstone Mine. Is this black dice or white dice? I don't even know.
Who cares?
Let's flashback this Faithless Looting.
White dice.
Wait, why did you do this pre-attack? Why didn't you do
Posted.
this pre-attack?
What am I going to hit pre-attack?
More
this?
crippling chills and bloodgat? Oh, no.
But yeah, I've already played my land.
Would have to hit all 3.
Never mind.
And I've already played my land, so I can't
Oh,
return
yeah,
Bloodghast.
yeah.
Yeah, no.
So
you're
now,
right.
and I attack because of now the Amalgam of the Yard
Yeah.
if I hit an Archamoeba.
No, you're right.
So Dredge 5. Okay, Conflagrate, the finisher here,
Wow.
and did not hit another Dredger. So I guess we get to take a natural draw, which I assume will be Narcomoeba or Crippling Chill.
Oh, not bad.
And let's discard our 2 Dredgers. So if we hit another looting, we're well set up for that and pass the turn.
Well, Brad,
Well,
how do you get out of this one?
I don't think I do. All right, well, that
Well, I haven't hit a Loam yet to supercharge Conflagrate, so that's a good sign for you.
You got an Ugin?
Yeah,
Ugin be a pretty good spot.
Ugin would probably just win the game.
I mean, I feel like I
you
I
still
feel
have
like I might have stabilized.
Wow.
Attack,
15.
make this for 3.
So you're doing something else with the other mana?
2 Eldrazi mana, make a Matter Shaper, untap, Endbringer, and say go. I feel stable.
I mean,
Yeah.
he has Conflagrate in the graveyard.
Yeah, but I don't have Loam yet.
Yeah,
So
but you still just do it for 4 and kill, like, a blocker. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe-
I'm straight dead
Yeah.
to double crippling right here.
Hmm.
Double crippling just kills me.
That's fair.
Okay, good. Oh,
Okay,
so much
so
stuff.
that'll trigger Narcomoeba, and that'll trigger these Amalgams. I have not hit another...
So you have a
I've
Dredge
not-
3 and a Dredge 4. So theoretically, I'm dead if you could find all 3 crippling chills in your deck. There's 4, right?
Yeah. Probably about halfway through my deck at this point.
This is exciting.
So what happens now if I attack with everything? Endbringer can go here. Matter Reshaper can go somewhere if you want it to. And then this shoots down like Narcomoeba, and you just need to use 1. Or you can just use an extra counter and keep your Reshaper. And I think I do want to whittle away counters on the Walking Ballista. And
Plus, you might can threaten a post-combat Conflagrate, right?
yeah,
To kill, like, Endbringer.
yeah, to kill the Endbringer too. Yeah, so blocking with the Endbringer is actually a little bit tricky because of Conflagrate. So yeah, everything is going to come back anyway, except for the Narcomoebas, which are going to die anyway. So attacking just makes
You
sense.
have 4 cards.
I have 4 cards in my hand, yes.
So I need to at least deal with 5. And that makes things... Oh. I'm not happy right now.
I mean,
I just-
you could trade the Reshaper for the Amalgam and then use these to just contain without having to block. You'd be down to a 1/1 Ballista at that
Ballista.
point.
Well, I want to kill you next turn. I don't think it's possible. But I don't know if I'm dead next turn. I feel like there's a good chance I can die next turn. That's the issue.
If you draw an Eldrazi Temple, I think you win, right? If you don't do any... I guess you
Well, I
can't-
have to
you
do
have
something.
to block.
I have to do something, and I don't want this to die.
You can't do something and kill him next turn.
Yes.
That's the problem.
But I just think that how do I get out of this turn? Like I can just shoot both of these and take 4. But then I deal, or I shoot one and go to 4. Or take 4, go to 5, and you have 4 cards.
Yep.
And then that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So yeah, if I draw another, I think that's the best plan. So I'm not going to block. Oh, but so what if I deal with all of his board? Will I live through the next turn? Like I can just do this and just take 1, and then you have 4, and then this will get you, and you have to play a land, so that's 3, and then that Life from the Loam will get you up to 6. So 6 plus hitting a crippling chill still kills me. It's all bad.
Yeah, that's not great.
It's all bad. It feels like I should try to go for the win. But even a hardcast crippling chill here could like offset all of that math.
Okay, so I think
It's all bad, but there might not be a 4th land.
I think you
Playing
have,
against Dredge is really difficult.
what if your play is to try to hit exactly Matter Reshaper off of Matter Reshaper? Does that change how you block? Like, can you block in such a way where you don't die to the Conflagrate, and then you can hit Matter Reshaper off the Matter Reshaper, and then threaten to kill him next turn?
Yes. If Matter Reshaper for days is as broken as this deck can get, but is it better to just play for a 2-mana land? That's the thing. Maybe it's better to play to a 2-mana land.
Well, you get a freebie off the Matter Reshaper, and then you can still hit your 2-mana land. But
No, but I need the damage from the Matter Reshaper.
yeah. This is tough. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I like the Dredge is not a just I win or you win. It's all obvious. You got to play in combat and you got to navigate the conflagrates.
This is one of the more interesting turns I have played on Versus Live in a long time. It's really fun.
You're very far behind, but you just have a possibility to just win.
Yeah.
But finding that is just.
I don't.
It's almost
Do you
too
just
hard.
have another ballista in hand? I'm trying to figure out how you kill me on the next turn.
I mean, I'll just show you. I'll show everyone. I have an
He
all
just clears out all your narc.
So I clear off
Yeah.
the blockers. I attack. This untaps for a ping, and this can shoot. And so
And it also gets to untap on your next turn.
And you're at
shoot
15,
as-
right?
shoot as
Yeah.
well.
yeah. So I will. This will deal 6 damage to you along with killing a blood
Oh,
gas.
so you need the full 3/3. You need all 3 counters on ballista then.
I need everything in play right now.
Yeah, you need it all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I need it all.
So I think you have to block Matter Reshaper on Amalgam and just use the Endbringer to shoot a blood gas.
That
Go
has to just
go
be
6,
worse.
Go to 6. Try to hit another Matter Reshaper and force him to conflagrate your walking
I
ball.
think it's just better to try to draw 2.
I mean,
unless-
he could also just stop you from doing this by just killing your walking ballista post combat.
Yeah.
That's true.
Which
So-
has been my plan the entire time.
Yeah, so-
Okay, fine. All right.
Like when you're playing Dredge, like there are very few
Mhm.
decks against which you do not have inevitability. So, so this traded for that and that. Yeah. So 2 pings on the 2 blood gas,
And I
one
took
from
one,
Narc,
I'm at 8.
one from ballista, one from this.
Yeah.
This traded with Reshaper, which hits map.
Am I supposed to go to 8 though? Can you kill me next turn with that conflagrate?
See, Dredge's Loam up to 5 cards, Loam's up to
I'm just shooting
7
this
cards.
Too. I'm staying at 9.
Yeah, he's staying at 9.
9. Okay. So with you at 9 still, at this point,
I just feel like trading away resources is the worst chance I have. Like I feel worse now than I was last turn, or with any other play actually.
This is where I'm not entirely sure what to do. So now I'm at 15. From my perspective, Brad can just sort of bring this up to a 3, kill the Narcomoeba, attack me for 7, bring me to 8, and this untaps, and he's well short of killing me. I have 3 hasty blood gas and presumably 3 amalgams next turn. What I'm not supposed to know is Brad has all his dust for these 2, because I'm not going to bring back blood gas, because that plays around Ugin, because I already have haste. And then that also allows this amalgam that died to come back on Brad's end step, as opposed to my end step, because it'll trigger off these amalgams. So do I kill this ballista right now? Which is a real question. I would lose this Narcomoeba, but then the ballista would be gone, and I would just have to attack around this Endbringer.
Why don't you just cast the Conflagrate for 1 from your hand?
Well, I would cast the one from the graveyard for 1, discarding this Conflagrate, because it leaves an extra counter on the mine.
But it leaves
Oh,
one
leaves a
Conflagrate in the yard.
Yeah, but like the game's not going to go to the point where I need all those Conflagrates and don't hit the one in the graveyard.
Yeah.
Like it's just not. That's just not how it's going to. Or it's very unlikely. I think this counter matters more because I might have to loam Conflagrate, then loam Conflagrate again.
So is this happening?
I think so. I think I want to
Right.
get this off the battlefield. I think, again, just trading resources.
And then those
So
come
now
back.
at my end step, these amalgams come in, and that triggers this amalgam for Brad's end step.
Yep.
You can go.
Not bad.
I don't know if you have any, if that deck has any way of gaining life. Like if Brad could get himself to 11, that would be.
No, actually, I have a good plan here. I just found it. I'm in the driver's seat again, I think. Yeah, there's no point in not attacking.
I'm at 10.
I'm actually pretty curious myself, Brad.
All right, so next turn I'll have this plus 3, so that's 1, but I don't even need that.
You have 3 in hand.
Yeah. So we're gonna sack this map. Now,
I'm assuming for another tower.
well, I can get tower. So I can get tower for a top deck, or I can get where is it at? I can get Sanctum for a top deck as well, because I have a card that costs 7. That I have the All Is Dust, and so we're just thinking 7. That would give me. If I draw a land, then that gives me a thing for 2. But I don't even think I need it. I think if everything goes according to plan, this isn't necessary.
Does Chalice on 1 stop conflagrate, or does
No.
the X?
No.
Yeah, X counts on the
But
stack.
I still think I'm gonna get a Sanctum.
Conflagrate avoids a lot of things like Eidolon of the Great Revel and Spell Queller.
It's good
All
to
right.
know.
So I'm going to play a Thought Knot Seer.
Oh, good thing.
Wait, I tapped it wrong.
Sure. So you're
Tap your 2.
yeah, these,
or,
yeah.
yeah. And you have 4 on tap.
probably want the Stinkweed Imp.
You can.
I can cast either.
Yeah.
I generally think the Imp is better.
Yeah, I will take. I'll
Yeah,
take M.
especially when you have an Endbringer like Narc Me
And then I'm going to play a Chalice for 2.
What does that stop? Just
Stops
another-
This is
Loam.
going to stop Loam, so the Conflagrate can't kill me.
Nice. Yeah. Okay.
And
Yeah.
so now I can deal with 3 things, and there'll be 2 things, and he can drop me to 5. So if Crippling Chill happens, I lose.
Okay. So an end
Oh,
step.
there's the third one coming back.
Yeah.
I'm dealing.
So I'm taking
you're
7?
actually just dead on board if you make that play, right? Because you're taking 7, and I can conflagrate you for 3.
So what you can Chalice for 1 and use. Oh no, you can't block.
So
and use
this play just
Inhibitors.
left you dead on board because of the other amalgam.
I'm just checking if, like, how much mana do I have? So if I just do this and this, and I'm just going to give up.
If you All Is Dust, then you're not dead.
Because you gets back
Because
the
then I only
the
have
one amalgam,
these,
then
and
he
you
gets
check
3
2 of them with the
Bloodgasps.
Endbringer.
Can you All Is Dust and Thought Knots here? Because you're minus a land, right? Because you
I
have
can't-
to pop the
Yeah,
map.
you can't. He only has 9 mana.
Yeah,
Or you can go up to 10 with the map.
I can go up
So
to
he's
10,
1
but I
short of
can't-
All Is Dust
I
plus
can't
Thought
do
Knot.
this.
Okay.
So I think you have to All Is Dust to stay alive.
This is way too complicated.
Yeah.
I agree with Brad. Let's just quit.
I can't get this into play.
stop
You can
the-
All Is Dust and Chalice on 1, but that doesn't really do
I
anything.
need it for 2 though.
Yeah.
Right, to stop the loam, to make the conflict.
I need it
Once
for
it
two.
Chalice on 2 and Thought Knot costs the same, and
Yeah,
actually,
I'm dead.
okay.
I mean, I am.
Yeah,
you're pretty dead.
It's an anticlimactic end, but I'm dead.
I agree.
I tried really hard for those 2 turns to make it
Yeah.
work, but
If you
I
all
forgot about the third prize amalgam.
if you All Is Dust, I dredge loam, like hit 3 irrelevant ones, loam back some lands that are mostly irrelevant.
All of your good
Play
cards
this and
were in the
return
top
Bloodghast.
12 cards.
Well, I dredge it a ton, so
Yeah.
then I would have attacked with these. You have to block a Bloodghast.
We've gone too far. Now we've confused ourselves. I'm assuming we've confused the audience.
Yeah, basically
just
the
move on.
amalgams triggered amalgams, and then it was.
I forgot about the third amalgam, and
fine.
that changed all my math.
Yeah, but you didn't have another play.
No,
There was no play to get out
no,
of
that
it.
was tough. But anyway, that was really impressive. Let's take a quick break real quick. Field some questions when we get back about last game. Maybe there's a better play. Maybe I missed it. But we're going to spend 3 minutes getting our sideboarding ready and then go to game 2. All right, so here we are for sideboarding. From the Eldrazi Tron side, we're going to be taking Chalice of the Void out because it's not that good in the matchup. It can do some nice things, but Dredge is kind of a resilient deck, and the longer the game goes, you can pivot around this card pretty easily, or just slow down.
For the most, like I have a certain number of 1-mana spells that are good, but I play most of them on turn 1 before Chalice comes down.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just ends up being too slow, and your 4 best sideboard cards all cost 1 mana. So.
That is true. Yeah, taking these out, taking Dismember out, and Karn and Ulamog, these are all the individual threat spells.
Yes.
And this card is also going to be better against control decks, blue decks in general. It's a good one against burn as well, but like I said, Dredge does a lot of unique things that Chalice just isn't good against. So taking that out, for the cards I'm bringing in, Graveyard Hate, Life Gain, and counter spells.
Yeah. So the Warping Will, surprisingly good against Dredge. We saw it counter Cathartic Reunion in game 1, which is one of its best modes.
Mm-hmm.
And then counter Conflagrate is the other really good mode in it. So being able to, and it tags Bloodghast and Archamoeba. So a lot of good things that card does. A surprisingly versatile card, and sometimes it just gets you to your end game faster. If you can go Warping Well on 2, Natural Tron, Ugin, that's another great line. So
now, while we're on the subject though about Chalice, there's been a lot of questions about how it interacts with Conflagrate. Can you talk about why this does not work against that card?
Yeah. So when anything refers to the converted mana cost of a spell, regardless of how you cast it via an alternate cost or any other method, the converted mana cost of the spell is always going to be referenced in the upper right. And when a spell is on the stack, X is whatever you paid. And when you flashback Conflagrate, you pay X without mana. You pay it by discarding cards, but it still counts the X in terms of converted mana cost. So if I discard 3 cards to a Conflagrate, its CMC on the stack is 7. 3 plus 3 plus 1. So a Conflagrate does not get stopped ever by Chalice unless you cast it for some... I mean, whatever number you cast it on, I can just discard a different number of cards.
Exactly.
And it also dodges things like Eidolon of the Great Revel, as long as you cast it from 2 or more, and same with Spellcaller. So it gets around a lot of stuff, which is nice. On my side, I think the cards I'm bringing in are pretty obvious. There's a temptation to bring in a lot more of the Nature's Claims, because Brad has some cages and relics that you want to kill, but you can't overload on hate in this matchup, and you're already wanting to bring in Trophy because it has the application of just killing a creature, especially killing Thought-Knot Seer and getting your Dredge off the trigger is really nice. So I have 4 answers to hate cards. Brad has 4 hate cards. Relic is not one that you even often answer directly. You sort of soft dredge a little bit, force them to pop it, and then reload. Sometimes you can hit this grudge early, and that's good against Relic. But I think 4 is a sweet spot. I even thought about not even bringing in a claim. And then Lightning Axe is a really good card in this matchup to just stop the early aggression out of Brad's deck. I also count this card as an enabler against creature decks. It's a little bit worse of an enabler against Brad because he's not playing things on turn 1 usually. So sometimes my hands are going to be slow in the post-board games, but it does allow me to cut Shriekhorn, which is the worst enabler in the deck, in my opinion. And then from there...
Well, you're a dum-dum. It's great.
When you're sideboarding with Dredge, you can't bring out too many of any one effect, and you just have to sort of trim across the board. Thought about bringing out a Conflagrate, but they're pretty important, especially if the games are slower, because then I need more ways to get cards from my hand back in my graveyard. I do like trimming Chill in a lot of matchups, but I think, personally, I've been over-trimming it, and that's hurt me. And then I trim 1 Dredger. I think Bloodghast is generally the worst creature, especially if your opponent's a creature deck that can clog the ground.
Yeah.
So that's the first one I go to there. And you just sort of trim 1 across the board because you want your ratios to stay the same.
Well, it makes a lot of sense. Todd, any good questions?
Not a whole lot of questions. Got a few pretty sweet comments, though. K. Mueller says, why is Ross's beard the best beard?
Well, that person is wrong.
It's because I condition it every day.
Nice.
Every day?
Yeah.
And then
That's
Abomination.
bad for your beard.
No, shampooing every day is bad.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
it's like beard
oils and
oils
stuff.
or
Yeah,
conditioner. But then Abomination says, can you tell Brad that he looks cute today? We got a few more.
I guess.
Scroll back down now.
I'll think about it.
Oh, we do have one pretty good question. This one is not pertaining to this particular matchup, but this is about Modern in general. MinCK222 asks, is Dredge the deck to beat, or do you think it just loses to all the hate?
Dredge is known for its resilience. So it's not a deck that you can just hate out. The issue and the reason that it died down after the ban, even after a few months where it was good, is because the format sped up and Dredge lacked its explosiveness after Grave Troll was banned, but it still had the same resilience. But when the format sped up, then there were a lot of decks in the metagame that could just beat you without hate, and that is when it becomes a problem. What Creeping Chill did was give the deck back some of its explosiveness and now let you kill on turn 4 consistently again.
Well, that's and you brought up what I was going to say is that every time Dredge comes back into Modern, the first place people go is all the graveyard hate, all the ways to control the board, like surgicaling the prized amalgams and bringing all these static casters to clean up all the other things. But then the final push to push it out of the metagame is always aggression. It's always the Death Shadows, the Teamer Battle Rages, along with the graveyard hate. It's the aggressive strategies with so much graveyard hate that Dredge can never get going and never has time to answer and execute.
Or the combo decks that can just ignore you, or big mana decks that can ignore you or go over the top of you. Yeah.
So that's where the metagame's going to have to be going. People are going to have to find the correct combo decks, the correct aggressive strategies, and when combo and aggression come back and push Dredge away, then that's just a perfect metagame for the control to come back in, and it just...
Yeah, we got that cycle.
It's a very cool cycle. I mean, personally, I'm a huge fan of decks like Dredge when they are just like pushing out like the hyper interactive strategies, like anything that's playing 14 removal spells and counter spells or whatever, like punish them. Just get a bunch of prize amalgams.
And we've seen a ton of control over the last 4 or 5 months, and last weekend there was 4 blue-white control and 1 Jeskai, I think, in day 2. Out of 65 decks.
Wow.
So about 6-7% total between the two.
That's
the
amazing.
lowest it's been in 6 months probably.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get going to game 2. Todd.
It's not a good one.
Todd, I'm going to need you in a little bit, but I'll let you know when, okay?
Okay.
All
it? Oh, I know what you need.
All right.
I am missing a key piece here with this hand.
I got it. You don't even have to ask.
But even if I miss, this hand puts together something, and I see a ton of cards in the opening turn, so this is a definite keep. I also see cards so that I can potentially dig towards an answer to hate, which I also don't have right now. How am I going to play this?
Do you want it for turn 2 or for turn 3?
Start with Fetch Shock, bring myself to 17.
Turn 3.
Okay.
I tend to use my fetches aggressively here, just so if I hit a Life from the Loam, I have more lands in my graveyard. And I know Brad's deck also is like Ghost Quarter, so I'm going to be aggressively finding multiple green sources so I can't get taken off of Loam that way. And we'll start with the looting again, because, God, that card is good.
As a sideboard option for most decks, Ross, what do you think about the strength of Grafdigger's Cage versus Relic of Virginius against Dredge? Which one do you think is particularly better?
My turn?
It depends upon what your deck is doing. The hate has to be specific to your strategy. Relic and the effects like that are these one-shots that are really good if you're applying a lot of pressure to your opponent. Whereas Cage is more towards the Relic of Progenitus side that really tries to stop them and shut them down. Of those Cages of more of the Rest in Peace Leyline side, of those 3, Cage is the worst, even though it's the fastest, because it still allows them to dredge. So as soon as they answer it, they'll almost immediately establish a board. It has gotten significantly better post Grave Troll ban because just dredging and casting large Grave Trolls between Loam to make your land drops and dredging the troll itself was a legitimate plan to beat Grafdigger's Cage in the first place. So it is better than it used to be. And I think it will see a lot more of it, but it just sort of depends on what your deck is doing. And
Come on. You've been taking very long turns.
I spent that entire time also thinking about what I'm going to discard to this Cathartic Reunion. So I don't have a Dredger, Brad. It's okay.
Oh, okay. You don't have any Dredger?
I did not find a Dredger off my 4 draw steps. So you're good there. We return a Bloodghast. I am going to cast a Cathartic, and we're going to discard...
Dude, just discard. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Narcomoeba jumps to mine.
All right.
Okay. Now we can get some business going. Return that on end step and pass the turn.
All right, Todd, I need you. Can you come here?
I'm coming.
Is this Todd knocking the deck?
Hold
I
on.
need him.
Come on!
No, you have to draw it too. Flip it.
It didn't work!
No.
It didn't work! I'm sorry.
Go.
My bad.
This is a little awkward
It is. I agree.
because I don't want to kill that reshaper now. But is it worth it to start dredging? I think it is.
Did you kill your own thing?
I don't think I'm going to, because I also want to start attacking. So
Oh, we're gonna strike it.
yeah, I'm going to lightning axe on upkeep, discarding this imp.
Oh, this is upkeep.
Yeah.
Come on, relic.
Or cage.
That would be nice.
Wait, Todd, I need you
No,
again.
no. I messed it up. If I had gotten it, I would have done it again.
Okay. Well, you hit your land. So I'll dredge 5 on draw.
All right.
This is the graveyard.
It would have been nice to have it last turn, though.
Okay. Trigger this Narcomoeba.
Mm-hmm.
And this is weird. Attack for 5.
Yep.
Brings you to 15. And
I was thinking about Eldrazi Tron in Atlanta, but this does not.
Oh, no.
This does not feel
Oh,
good.
no. You're going to need a little more graveyard heat.
do
Yeah.
I want to return this Bloodghast?
If you want.
It's a real question given this in my hand that I can return next turn with the looting.
I think 8 Graveyard Hate Tron. I'll go back to that deck.
Dude, regular Tron just looks
15,
good.
3, 4,
Tannen's has
5s.
been doing really well with it. And
No, I agree, but I used to play 8 Graveyard Hate.
I think
Sure.
I'm about to get Thought Not Seared, so I'm going to return it.
multiple people have
cast another Narcomoeba.
commented, knocking the top of the deck only works when you need to hit the land for Fight with Fire.
Oh, that's true.
It's only has been twice, and I've hit it both times for a lethal Fight with Fire.
I think a lot of the time I would not return that Bloodghast, but because I feel like I'm getting Thought Knotted, yeah.
You are.
Do you want the Amalgam or the Imp?
That's an interesting question.
I have a Dockmore Salvage in my graveyard. Brad takes the Imp, then I'm going to feel stupid.
I
But,
think I am going to take it.
if I had left the Bloodghast in the yard, maybe he takes the Amalgam.
All right, your turn.
You're at 15 right now.
How do you win from here, Brad?
I mean, I don't feel super great about this game.
How do I win?
Yeah.
I get to be with my best friends. That's my
Nice.
definition of winning.
Aww.
Ugh.
Thanks.
Later,
Brad.
when I go hang out with BBD.
Yeah, thanks, Brad.
Do I don't think I attack with the Amalgam. That just gives Brad a really easy block. And now, like, these are really difficult for him
This is, why is this now a very difficult block?
because I have an Amalgam in hand.
Oh, yeah.
If you block Bloodghast, then I get an Amalgam back.
Well, it's eventually going to happen.
Okay. You take 4, brings you to 11. Flashback Faithless Looting. That's
Multiple people are curious if you think adding a scavenger grounds over one of the 4 wastes is that something that you could lean toward?
Yeah, that seems fun. I mean, I don't think it'll be great, but since, like, look at this, like, now, even if I interact, I have to be doing something really good.
Mm-hmm.
you can go.
That's a womp womp. I don't even think we're gonna need a pity game. This is just too much.
No, yeah, I don't want to.
I don't even care.
I don't want
Like,
it.
If you end up winning game
Dredge
3,
2.
it'll just be because you went like turn 1 Grafdigger's Cage.
Oh,
that
I just stacked my deck.
yeah.
Now,
Sir Phil 22, shout out for the 200 bits. Thanks, dude. Got Holy Diver in the chat, said Brad needs something really good, and Eldrazi Tron has none of that.
Hey!
Swarm of Matt says, did you discard for your looting? Did I miss you actually cast
Yeah.
looting?
I discarded the Amalgam that we knew was in my hand and the salvage that I just dredged this
Yeah,
turn.
all the
Okay,
cards just
sorry.
come back right away.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm going to go to 15.
Bold. Very bold move.
I'm going to hard cast a Conflagrate for 2 on the Reshaper.
too late.
I mean, that's one of the cards that can let you win, I guess.
I mean,
But-
I can draw. I can.
Okay, you go to 2.
I'm at 2.
Yeah,
Look
you
at
were at
crippling
11.
chills
I
in your
know.
deck.
I got 3 chills left.
Yeah, Cage does shit. Oh, was it gonna peel a couple extra?
Oh.
All's dust. Sup. Sup.
Gotcha.
And now
Guess
your
I'm
deck-
dead.
Dude, I hope you just draw Crippling Chill and cast. Yeah,
Attack.
the game's over, Brad. We're not.
Exile
we're
a
not doing
card.
this. We're not doing this.
Next turn.
Yeah. We don't even get to your main phase.
What were you drawing Crippling Chill? next time?
I was dredging a trill with
Dredging it,
low.
yeah.
Gas.
Yeah.
Doesn't even matter.
Cage in
Cajun
play, even wrathing the board. You used to be like locked it up, and now you're like can't ever win.
Oh, dude, we need a raise hand judge emote. Whenever one of us like is losing so bad, they just start peeling 10 extra cards and try to come back.
That would be great.
That'd be sweet.
All right, well, wasn't a strong showing for Eldrazi Tron, but
No.
every year I just like to keep my sanity in Modern. I just have to play with decks that I want to play.
Well, I mean,
I just-
you also played that deck at the Pro Tour, the Modern Pro Tour, like this year, right?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do well with it.
Right.
I think I went 6-4. That's not bad. I think I went 6-4.
Mm.
I think I did.
I mean, 60%. It's only slightly below like the best percentage.
Yeah.
To be fair, it wasn't as weak of a showing as it might appear. You lost game 1 in a close game and to an excellent draw from the Dredge side.
I had natural Tron and countered. your
Yeah,
Cathartic.
you had a very good draw yourself.
Yeah.
But I had an excellent draw, and it's game 1. Dredge is just naturally favored in game 1 in almost every matchup. And then game 2, you stumbled and didn't have any hate. So yeah, of course you're gonna lose those games.
I mean, I think what I learned here is if not even because Eldrazi Tron is like a regular Tron deck, except it has aggressive elements.
yes.
But regular Tron has proven to tend to be the better deck. It is just the better deck. When things like Death Shadow show up, then maybe you want to be the Chalice. Like I think Eldrazi Tron is the best Chalice of the Void deck, and so if you want to do something like that, except if that one that Grixis War deck, I wanted to play that today so badly because it looks so cool, but I would look so stupid. And I just couldn't do
need
that.
to get some reps of that one first.
I would look even more stupid than bringing Eldrazi Tron to
Yeah.
the table.
But when I look at Eldrazi Tron, I see a Tron deck that takes the normal shell and lowers the ceiling to raise the floor. When things aren't going as well, like you can be an Eldrazi deck. And when things are still going well, you have the capability to go over the top, even if it's just with Walking Ballista, which has seen increased numbers in Tron anyway, because it's so good. But Modern is a format where I'm always trying to raise my ceiling.
Yes.
I think if you approach it from if this were more like I think in Standard, it's more about raising your floor, and Modern is a format that's all about raising your ceiling and beating people and with your best draws as
I
consistently as you
don't
can.
really understand what you're saying. I don't want.
Maybe I'm wrong about Standard.
No. Okay. I don't know about the standard thing, but I do agree in Modern. One of the best lessons I've ever learned, I learned from Brian Brown, which was always be trying to do the best thing.
Yeah.
And just every time in Modern, and don't try to always react to it. Do the best thing. And if the best thing is doing something more powerful than the best thing, then do that thing.
Yeah. And Creeping Chill made by raising the Dredge's ceiling and making it as explosive as it used to be, or close to that. I don't think it's quite as explosive as it was with Grave Troll, but it also added another dimension. But by giving it some of that explosiveness back, it made your best thing comparable or slightly better than other people's best things. And when Dredge is best, that's the line when Dredge gets really good, is when you can play a non-interactive game with the way people think of Dredge, then and win consistently, you're going to win a ton of long games because that's what the deck's actually really good at. So when you also get to win the early games, that's when the deck becomes really overpowered and sees a lot of play, and that's what's happening right now.
Right. Yeah. I don't mean to cut you off. You're going a little long. Two things. First thing, this is actually about what you're talking about, and I just want you to reiterate this because people are pretty confused. And Brad actually said something about being a little confused with what you were talking about. When you say you're trying to reach the highest ceiling, What are you specifically meaning with that? And when you're trying to raise your floor, what do you mean by that as well?
Right. So it's ceiling is best case scenario, floor is worst case scenario. So when you think about decks that are really powerful, have a very high ceiling because their best case scenario is going to do something really awesome. Like Goryo's Vengeance decks in Modern have a very high ceiling. They can kill you turn 1 or 2. But they also have a very low floor because sometimes they just do nothing.
And that's why that they equal out and are like a 45% deck.
Yes. Now, if they found some way to more consistently hit the ceiling, then the deck would get a lot better. And that's what you need to look for to improve that deck. Dredge had a very high ceiling when it had Golgari Grave Troll and Cathartic Reunion. Just turn 2, you could put 12 power into play, and you could kill turn 3. And you almost always put enough creatures onto play on turn 2, then some more onto the battlefield on turn 3, and then finish them off with a Conflagrate on 4. And it's that turn 4 kill that's about the pace of the Modern format. And the thing is, Dredge's worst case scenario is their floor has always been pretty high. Yeah, sometimes like you miss a Dredger and you have to play slow, but you're really good going along. The only time you hit a really fail rate that you really hit a bad case scenario is against non-interactive decks and decks that put you under a lot of pressure. And that's what Brad noted. That's the way you attack them on a strategic level, as opposed to attacking them on a tactical level with a bunch of hate.
The best way to explain the high ceiling, low floor, standard Modern thing from what I got from Ross that I can add, which is pretty interesting, is so in standard, I think the reason why my brother probably has a high win percentage because my decks are good and he's just very good at playing the game, often better than I am. Like I think that like at the highest height I'm better than him, but he plays really well, especially in standard. But the reason why I think that I've had such a good career in standard is I am doing that. I'm trying to raise my floor, and I never thought about it this way, but I say it in a different way. I try to have a high match win percentage, but a low game win percentage in standard. And so I don't like winning matches 2-0. If I'm going to pay the 12 tickets to get into a league, I want my 15 games. But no, I'm kidding. No, the reason I say that is the more blowouts you have, the higher chance that there's going to be other matchups that are bad, right? So I'm trying to only have exactly the cards that I need for each matchup. And I just want to make sure all my matchups are perfect, and that's why I side like when I know a deck really well, I sideboard 12 cards in each matchup, 10 cards in each matchup. I change my game plans because I'm just having exactly what I need so that I get to play as much Magic as possible to every single opponent, and I can make sure that I'm eking out those match wins. Whereas in Modern, you have 3 game sets because you might have like a combo deck that's good against this game 1, then they have all their hate cards. But you're not trying to win 3 game sets. Except if you're like a control deck or mid-range deck. And that's the problem with like decks like Jun. They just say I'm a 3 game deck because they lose game 1 every time.
Or they lose one of the first 2 games because their opponent just blows them out.
Yes. And when that's exactly why I used to play mid-range in Modern, because it was my wheelhouse in standard. I always like these mid-rangey, decks in standard because it did what I want to do. It gave me a good win percentage. But it didn't really do that for me in Modern. I did do pretty well with Gen decks, never great though. And the people that were always doing great were just going with the flow of whatever the trend is, right? Like Modern is fetch, and it happens. And you just keep following it wherever the broken thing is, because guess what? Dredge is going to be around, and we can get into this more. We're going to play Dredge more today, but this is the final thing. Then we're going to go to break and play our next match. But when a deck gets good and it's new, and Dredge is, yes, an old deck, but there's new math, right? There's Crippling Chills. It changes every equation. It changes a lot of things about the deck. And now that is a part of the strategy, it's going to take us a lot of time to figure it out. Now, we will figure it out. That's how Magic works. Eventually, it could take a month. It could take a year. We will figure out how to beat Dredge. But Dredge just gets to win until it stops doing that. It gets to soak up all these advantages. So if you just hear that the new deck comes out now and you're like, oh, well, I have to figure out how to beat it now, you're going to be like, trying to play from behind the entire time until you finally beat it. And then once you finally beat it, something new is out there that you're finally beating.
And then everyone drops Dredge.
And so Modern is better to chase the next thing. And That's what I think a high ceiling and a low floor really equates to.
Yeah. Well, what you're remarking on there is that in the totality of what's possible in Modern, these decks always have a high ceiling, low floor. But in the reality of the metagame that exists in Modern tournaments, the lower part of their floor is cut out because people either haven't figured it out or the decks that prey on them don't exist yet.
Yes.
Or people aren't playing them, they aren't popular. And it takes a while for that floor to work its way back into the metagame
Yes.
in terms of people having more hate or having a better strategy or having a deck that has a naturally good matchup, all those different ways to fight it. And then once that low floor comes in, that balances out the high ceiling and the deck becomes less good. But in order to bring that low floor in, then there's a hole somewhere else in the metagame. Maybe there's some other combo deck that now becomes good because it's not using the graveyard.
Also, you need the metagame to catch up. Right now, there's a lot of dredge, right? But how much dredge actually is there? What is the percentage at the start of a tournament? Now the cream will rise, right? It'll keep getting better.
I mean,
But
we
so
saw
if you-
two Dredge decks fighting for 9-0 on day one of SEG DFW.
But we don't know how many were there.
We
in
don't know
round
how
one.
many total Dredge decks were in the field. It could have been 10 people out of 700 or whatever. And then you have these 8 sideboard cards, and 4 of them are okay in other matchups, but 4 of them are literally just dead for every round except the one time out of 15 rounds you play Dredge.
Yeah, I mean, I think that every tournament there is a group of decks that are the correct choices, and it's really hard to figure that out. That's why we write articles every week and we think about this because it's fun.
Yeah.
But who knows the perfect answer? It's difficult. But anyway, we've been going on a long time. I'm going to play one of the decks that I really want to play. I played against Todd a while back. I am playing Catlight's Bant Spirits deck.
This is not a matchup I have a lot of experience with.
It's also not a matchup I have a lot of experience. But luckily, Cat sent me a cyber guide and a little I was like, can you help
how
me?
to?
Yeah, and how to. So I've got the edge now.
Okay. Well, come back and I'm going to be playing Catlight on Bant Spirits.
Yeah, we will be taking a 10-minute break and we'll be back with a little bit more Dredge action. Hopefully, I can win a game. I'm not even looking for a match. I'm down to just win a game this round.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.